have a lot of confidence we're getting a good sample of the storm as we look at it up there. Let's check it out with our three-dimensional tool. Actually, we're just going to do a slice here real quick, because one of the things that I'm going to look for as we continue the coverage here is whether or not we're getting debris or anything like that lofted. That's another way we can tell what's going on. I wanted to do a quick reset just to let you know that the Evansville area, Western Kentucky, you are not in this particular situation. This is strictly Southern Illinois and Southwest Indiana where we have that tornado warning right now, okay? But because we have a tornado warning, potential deadly situation here, we're going to stay with you. And if you're in the path of the storm, I'm going to list some cities off here again in a moment. You need to be in the basement or away from windows, a small interior room in your house, and stay put until we give you the all clear, which will likely come here in about the next half hour or so. There's that area that it's really starting to wind up tight. It's out to the east now of Belmont and south of Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel, you need to be in the basement now as this storm moves through. Of course, this area not a stranger to tornadoes and severe weather. The arrival time there, 9:43 at Mount Carmel. Little Rock at 10:57. Hall, this is getting up into Knox County perhaps. That's why those times are so late. Schrott Station is another spot there at 9:36. Looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued downstream of this one. So let's go back and just look at velocity data. And again, that is a really intense area of circulation right here to the south of Mount Carmel. Distance-wise, we're talking, if this is downtown Mount Carmel there by the high school, only about 3 miles away. So you've just got, a minute or two to get into a safe spot, but you do need to do that quickly because it is moving right along. And as we look at the last 30 minutes of data, you can see it just kind of coming together and shooting up toward the Wabash River there to the south of Mount Carmel. If you are in Mount Carmel now, you need to be in your tornado safe place, which is in a basement or a windowless interior room. You should abandon mobile homes if you have time. It's probably a little late to do that. And you need to remain there until the storm has passed. Also, you can listen to our coverage. We are streaming on Facebook. But you can also listen on 104 FM WIKY, our radio partners over there across the street, and you can stay in there. If you have reports too, you can send them to us at 14news.com. Go to our webpage, navigate to the send us your photo and video, and then right here you just hit the green button and upload your photos or video. It's helpful for us to know what's going on. In a house, you want to get to the lowest level possible. So of course we talk about the basement all the time. Not everybody has one. In that case, you want to get into the central portion of your home. Maybe it's a bathroom or a spot under the steps. And that's where you want to stay. This is the position you should get in, down low, protecting your head. And again, we're talking mainly about Mount Carmel and Wabash County. And you know the drill, of course, for other places like schools and employers and that on where to go. It looks like we've added yet another tornado warning. So we're going to go back up to the area here that's at highest risk. And we have 3 tornado warnings right now. So they've added a couple here, and these are embedded tornadoes perhaps in that little squall line that's coming across Wabash County right now. Can't emphasize enough, Allendale, Lancaster up here in the north down to Patton, and then of course Mount Carmel we've mentioned many times. You need to be in this shelter now and stay put until we give you the all clear. Also Knox County there, southwestern Knox County, you now are under a tornado warning too. Let's go back to the velocity tool. You can see that strongest couplet. Boy, that is really intense. They're now moving into Mount Carmel. Wouldn't surprise me to see or to receive some reports of damage there around Mount Carmel in Wabash County. We're looking now at the debris information that the radar collects. And out here, this is a noisy picture, I know, and what I'm looking for is greens and then down to blues. And you do see something here that would be in conjunction with where the tornado signature was as well. So we are at least potentially showing debris in the air now just to the south of Mount Carmel. And we're only talking about, if you go right from downtown there, right from the bridge, only about a mile away. This is still radar indicated, but all indications here on the radar are that we potentially have some debris being lofted here just to the south of Mount Carmel. Let's look at our slice tool here, and what I'm going to look for is bright returns here on the radar that are coming up and potentially showing us where we would have lofted debris. And we're not seeing it too clearly at this range right now. Let's try our 3D tool instead, and that might give us a little better fix on what's happening here in Mount Carmel. Again, we're very close. Everything is close to the radar right now, so it kind of obliterates some of the returns, but that is some pretty intense wind that we're showing now, just right over Mount Carmel and then moving out to the north and to the east at about 50 miles an hour. The other tornado warnings up there are also blinking, so let's kind of give you the information on all of those. I've been focusing on Mount Carmel. That is our most populous city in Wabash County. We don't want to forget Lancaster up here, though, and also St. Francisville. And then across Knox County, that would be Decker right down here at the truck stop, and then down into the river bottoms there, and perhaps up to St. Thomas, which would be still south of Vincennes. All these tornado warnings, by the way, are radar indicated. And they are based on the things that I just showed you. So we have had, just in the last 30-40 minutes, a real intensification of these storms as they've come into Gibson County. So that warning for Gibson and Wabash goes until 10. The one for Knox County will go until 10:15. That'll be Central Time, 11:15 in Vincennes. And then finally, the other tornado warning there in northern Wabash County will go until 10 as well. A lot to show you here, so let's clear that off, and we will go back to a couple of these individual cells that we're looking at. And again, just for perspective, Evansville, the metro area, is in the clear right now. This is going to pass to the north, but if you're in Princeton, Fort Branch, Francisco, any place here in Gibson County, and particularly right along the White River, you need to be in your tornado safe place now until this storm passes. The lightning strikes should be a tell, as we've had an increase, a very rapid increase in electrical action here in these storms, about 40 strikes alone just in the last 10 minutes here in southern Wabash County. So there is plenty going on here to be concerned with. The newest scan has come in, so let's just start at the top here and we'll work our way down. And we're looking at the northern portion of Wabash County. So this is up by County Road 2200, Allendale out here to the east. And that particular area, not really showing as much of a couplet, right? Green and red together. It's just mainly straight line winds up there, but they could quickly escalate into a tornado type situation, or at least damaging winds. And then our other signature now has cleared Mount Carmel. It's across the river. It'd be out here out about 4 miles to the north of Lyles Station, and is moving now toward Hazleton here along the Wabash River. Again, I'm looking at this bright area of returns here along the White River, still showing 50, 60 mile per hour winds. But again, if this is a spinning type situation, then we have that going on in addition to some very heavy rain too. Down at Lyles, we're also showing strong winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour. And then the tornado warnings, of course, are still out ahead of where these storms are moving across the Wabash River. Let's move the radar out just one notch here so we can kind of get a little cleaner picture of what's happening. And right now, the lead edge of the storm has not quite made it to Highway 41 yet. So if you're in Princeton and Fort Branch, you still have a few minutes here to get in your safe place. Let's do some new times of arrival here because we have new data. It just came down there. You might have seen the little jump there on the screen. So everything moving east at 50, and we'll start tracking this line from the south. We'll just work our way up to the north. So this means now that we could expect damaging wind gusts in Princeton at 9:52. So that's about 10 minutes from, about 8 minutes from now. Francisco at 9:59, and then Spurgeon and Rumble there by 11:08 and 11:11. Then to the north of that, we'll just continue to draw cones on here, and some of these cities are going to light up many times in a row. Oatesville at 10:04. There you see Princeton, Francisco again between about 9:50 and 10 o'clock. So you need to be buttoned up in your shelter now in Princeton, even though the tornado warning there is a little farther north of you. And finally, we'll do one more little swath here back to the east of Mount Carmel. And that portion of damaging wind gusts will reach Hazleton at 9:54. So that's coming right up the Pike. Decker at 10:57 in Knox County. And then we have Willis at 11:08 and Petersburg way over here at 11:11. Okay, now we have some new information to show here. You see this purple here with the stripes underneath. That indicates that the tornado has been observed and is now of greater concern. Not that a tornado warning is not, but the tornado warning here that has gone purple on us is in southern Knox County, and we will get that information on the screen for you here, hopefully. And if not, we'll move it around. There we go. All right, well, let's just clear that off completely. And the warning that I'm trying to query there is for Knox County. This is an observed tornado. People in the path of this storm, about 273 of you there in Decker, Monroe City, mainly south areas of Knox County. Let's back the radar out one notch, and we'll get hopefully a little cleaner picture there for you. So the purple indicating an observed tornado. Remember that tight couplet that we showed you a moment ago and potential debris aloft? That must have been verified by somebody on the ground, and that is why the warning has gone purple. The other warning, tornado warning that was in effect for Mount Carmel, has cleared. Mount Carmel, you are now safe to come out of your shelter. And up here around Lancaster and Allendale, we still have about 8 to 10 minutes left on that tornado warning. But the purple one there is the greatest concern, because that would indicate that we have an actual tornado going on. Let's go back to our velocity information. And again, looking just at the shape of the warning here, right in the middle of it is likely where we have that strong rotation going on. Let's check our storm reports. Maybe we have something that has come in here just while I've been on the air. I don't see any just yet, but sometimes these are a little bit delayed in coming in. So we will go back to that in a couple of minutes. Back to the main screen here, we're going to go back to just reflectivity, which is rain. And that shows, of course, where we have not only strong to heavy winds, but also very heavy rainfall coming down as well. Velocity, though, is kind of the golden standard here as we are trying to look for the tornado within that tornado warning here in Knox County. So I'm going to zoom in a lot tighter here than we've gone. And what I'm seeing, we have the strongest winds down here right. This would just be north of Hazleton there, where the railroad bridge comes across. Or actually, this is Hazleton back here. This is down to the southwest of Hazleton. There you go. Now we're starting to see that return. So that's about 5 miles, 4 to 5 miles southwest of Hazleton. The picture that we're looking at is showing wind potential there of 70 to 80 miles per hour based on the color here that we're looking at. And let's see if we have any debris showing up as well. And we do see at least the potential for some lofted debris. Again, we're looking for lighter colors here, greens down to blues, and grouped together. And it has to be in conjunction with a couple of features on the map here. First of all, the notch in the reflectivity, and then finally where we have the strongest winds right now. So what to make of all this? You need to be in a safe place. Obviously, if you're in Hazleton right now, if you're in Monroe City, any place in southern Knox County, you are at risk right now and will be here for about the next 15 to 20 minutes as this part of the storm works along the Wabash River there, just to the north of Hazleton. This is a similar path, if you will, to the tornado from June the 2nd of 1990. Some of you may be old enough to remember that, and it basically just tracked right along this same path. I'm not saying this is as strong as that one, but we are definitely seeing some strong to intense winds, and we have had a reported tornado in this area. So the best thing to do is to get into a safe place and remain there until we give you the all clear. Still showing some pretty intense winds of 73 and higher, now moving into Hazleton. I want to back the radar out just one notch, and then we'll do a new storm track here. Again, this is from Hazleton, and then you're looking at Highway 41 here, so Decker would be on the other side. This is sort of the boot of Knox County. Monroe City back here at the other end of that tornado warning. Again, this is an observed tornado that is now moving to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So we're going to take that a little higher here actually to illustrate what's going on. It looks like we have a new warning coming in too. I'll get to that one in a moment. So we're looking at Hazleton now, 9:53. That's 3 minutes from now. That strongest wind will be over you. Then into Vollmer at 10:56. Willis at 11:05. We've crossed into the Eastern time zone there into Knox County. Palmyra at 11:09. And Washington at 11:18. Let's clear that off. I thought I saw there's so much going on the radar right now. It's kind of hard to see where we have the warning. There's still the new tornado warning has just come in here, it looks like, for Lawrence County. And that one also continues until 10:15. Now that one is radar indicated, but the environment is the same all along this line, or at least in this area. So any of these could spin up pretty quickly and create damaging winds or a tornado. Again, the purple with the stripes moving in there indicates that a spotter or law enforcement, somebody has confirmed a tornado in here. So this is a much higher priority than the radar indicated, and you need to be taking this extremely seriously as this moves to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. Looks like now we have a new tornado warning, and this one is flashing red, so we don't have confirmation on this portion anymore, but we will check the new information that has just come in here on that one, and I'm assuming that will be radar indicated as well. And that tornado warning for southern Knox County will go until 11:15. So this is areas just north of the White River. That does not include Pike County at this point. Monroe City, you need to be on alert. And as we look just at I'm going to track from a couple of things. We're going to start just with the heaviest rainfall potentially there. And as that moves to the north at about 50 miles an hour, we're still seeing some of those cities and towns there, like Decker at 10:55, Willis at 11:07, and then Steen at 11:15. I'm going to move the cone just a little bit here to the north as that turns that way. And still the same general towns are showing up there. Verne at 11:08, Steen, Washington in Davies County, potentially at 11:22. And the remainder of the tri-state is in the clear right now. In Evansville, about the only thing you're probably seeing, if you go and look to the north, you're going to see a lot of lightning up there. And these storms are towering up pretty quickly, as I showed you there on our cross-sectional view. So they do have all the ingredients they need to produce, at bare minimum, damaging wind gusts, but also the quick spin-up tornadoes are occurring up there too. And we'll get zeroed back in on here. We don't want to neglect the severe thunderstorm warning there, which is also in effect for Gibson County. That includes Princeton. The heaviest rains are now moving through Princeton. Same warning that was in effect there for extreme northern Vanderburgh County. We're talking about, it looks like Boonville, New Harmony, or maybe the next road up, which would be Baseline. So areas north of Baseline Road up to the county line there, and then of course you have the truck stop here at 41 and 64. Those strong winds will be coming across that area very soon. And as we switch over now to the wind mode, you can see the gust front, the strongest or the brightest reds there have already passed Princeton. And we were showing, at least at one time, 70-mile-an-hour winds potentially, but 50 to 70 would certainly be a reasonable guess here based on what's going on this evening, and then maybe lesser amounts of wind as you head a little farther south of the line. It's pretty compact, though. It's all up here, basically between I-64 and Vincennes, and will be moving east. So if you're watching us in Pike County right now, back here in Petersburg, Winslow, Davies County up around Washington, you certainly need to be prepared to move to shelter if we give a warning for you. These other severe thunderstorm warnings are about halfway done. A couple of these are going to drop off here at 10 o'clock. So the best advice, obviously, is to just put your severe weather plan into action and get in a safe spot. Keep listening to us either on the radio or here on TV. We also are streaming our coverage on Facebook, so you have a number of ways that you can stay abreast of the weather. North of I-64 is where the action is. South of I-64, not so much. In fact, very little rain has fallen today from Mount Vernon to Evansville. Western Kentucky completely out of this particular event. This is all concentrated now right along and now east of Highway 41. The next question mark will be whether or not we see warnings downstream of these, and that would include Pike and maybe northern Warwick County, as those winds get a little more wound up and organized. And this is kind of interesting. I wanted to look at this a little closer because we're seeing some of these bright returns again showing up here, in particular between Princeton and Francisco. I'll give you some roads too. So we have, here's I-69 over here. We're still a couple, 3 miles from that. But that spot right up to the northeast of Princeton is showing wind speeds. We'll have to check that approximately. We'll just try to get a number in there, 55 to 60 miles per hour, and even now moving between Princeton, Fort Branch, and Hobstadt down here, some pretty intense wind coming across Highway 41. Don't know if folks are listening to us on the radio in the car, but on Highway 41, if you're driving north, you'd want to stop there at 64 or Fort Branch or pull off, because these are going to be the kind of winds that certainly a high-profile vehicle like a truck or something could get knocked over. And then coming in from the north, you just want to hold short there in Vincennes and wait this one out as the winds move to the east. Let's see how this thing has evolved, and it is accelerating somewhat as it moves to the east, which may indicate the storm is kind of collapsing and sending all of that wind out. That's a good thing because the storm then is collapsing, but of course the bad thing is we could see some wind damage as a result. We'll clear those numbers off there. They're a little distracting, and let's move out a notch just so we can get kind of the broader view of what's happening. Still a tornado warning. We don't want to forget that. That is radar indicated now just for that southern strip of Knox County along and just north of the White River. Okay, there's our new severe thunderstorm warning now, and that one will include Pike County. Not really a huge surprise here, and that's the siren you're hearing behind me right now. So the tornado warning for Knox County will go until 10:15 Evansville time, and then our newest warning here just issued will include Pike and also eastern Gibson County, and that will go until 10:30 local time, 11:30 in Pike County because you're in Eastern time. So that's what's happening up there. Let's get some storm tracks going here so we can give you arrival times, and we're going to start in northern Pike County. Again, all this stuff moving to the east at about 50. So into Petersburg at 11:08, Rogers at 11:12, Veal at 11:15. That is in Davies County, Washington at 11:18, and then Ireland in Du Bois County at 11:26. And then a little farther down the line here, and some of these cities are going to be duplicated. You see White Oak there at 11:17, Otwell out by Pike Central High School 10:21, and there's Ireland showing up again. And then finally, on the more southern flank down here, it will reach into perhaps Oakland City at 10:06, Stendal at 11:19, and then Selvin at 10:23. It's a little confusing because we're straddling time zones here, so you've got arrival times that are an hour apart, but you know who you are and what your time is wherever you happen to be. So just know that these things are still holding their strength and will move in over the next 30 minutes there across southwest Indiana. We're going to stay with the coverage here a little bit longer. Obviously, we've got a newscast. Oh, we're already into the newscast, aren't we? It's after 10. So we will continue with the coverage here, looking at southwest Indiana. And I want to clear everything off the board here just to show you that the storms that we have been on the air with here continuously now for about 40 minutes are still holding their strength, and they're moving to the northeast away from the Evansville area. This is one of those situations where our most populated areas like Evansville, Owensboro, Henderson, not seeing a thing other than the lightning to the north, but those of you up north of I-64 are getting quite a storm right now. We have a new tornado warning in as well, and that one I believe is in southern Knox County. It is right in here, and as that moves toward Monroe City, that will be a concern over the next 15 to 20 minutes. Let's look at our velocity. We do have the interceptor heading up Highway 41 right now, I believe. We're going to get a location on him in just a second. I do want to emphasize here a new tornado warning. This is for southern Knox County. Includes Monroe City, Verne, and a couple of other towns here. We're going to give you a storm track in just a second. But those winds are really accelerating as that storm moves to the north. And a quick storm track here will show you that things are going to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles an hour. So we're going to make that cone really big, and that will get this into Monroe City here in about 9 minutes, into Steen at about 11:15, and then into Washington at 11:22. Looks like the interceptor is heading, I believe that's north, and if we can take that shot live, you can see the lightning. Thank you. You can see the lightning there off on the northern horizon. Looks like he's out sort of by the airport, I believe. I can't really... Yeah, okay. So we, anyway, we're heading up there to see what's going on within that part of the storm. But this is certainly concerning here this evening for those of you in Gibson and now Pike and southern Knox counties. And we're going to go back here to the other picture. And actually, let's look at the lightning here for just a moment, and we'll switch that over. Our lightning strike count has increased, and that's always a sign that the storms are intensifying, and in particular they're increasing down here to the southwest of Princeton. In fact, if we just do a little, actually let's zoom back in on that. Hard to tell exactly where we need to be, but let's look down here. So we're going to turn our lightning strikes on, and just back here, this is from Poseyville back to the Wabash River and into southern Illinois. We've had 93 strikes that have hit the ground just in the last 10 minutes, and then to the north where the wind now is dominating, not as much lightning. So that's kind of an interesting development there. Of course, the winds are pushing out. What we may be looking at in the north here is a storm that is kind of at the end of its life, and to determine that, we can use a little time lapse here. We're going to look at the 3D view of it here, and then we'll just put a loop on and take the tool off, and you can see how this storm has evolved. A little bit taller and a little more electrical about 30 minutes ago, and now it has started to kind of die down. But as it does that, as I mentioned, you have this collapse of cold air coming down and pushing wind out in all directions. Sometimes that creates what we call a microburst or downburst, and those can be just as destructive as a tornado. They can produce that kind of wind. Our tornado warnings, they're tinier now, and they are within the severe thunderstorm warning. So it gets a little complicated here to look at, but we're going to do our best to show you exactly what's happening up here in our northern counties here. This is southern Knox County. So we have a tornado warning up to the Wabash River in Lawrence County, just back to the west of Vincennes. Vincennes, you've had nickel and dime size hail earlier today. And then we have the second tornado warning, which is actually there around Monroe City in Knox County. Now that still has about 11 more minutes to go on that one. So as those storms move to the north, they will be pushing out of the region. The other area now of strong winds is moving into Pike County. And as we mentioned before, a lot of the wind that we've had this evening has been on the order of 40 to 60 miles per hour with some higher gusts. This lead edge of the rainfall is coincident probably with the lead edge of the heaviest, or strongest winds, and that's from Petersburg. And then you basically draw a line straight down I-69 there to about the Oakland City exit would be around right in here. And so you have that strong wind that's going to be coming across I-69 and then moving on into the central portion there of Pike County. So let's do a track from near Petersburg right now, which is where the strongest winds are showing up on our radar. That wind area, damage potential, will reach Petersburg at 11:08, or is in Petersburg now, then on out to Arda at 11:11, Veal at 11:18, Waco at 11:28, and Reeve at 11:34. Farther down the line, and this will take us through central Pike County, so places like Arthur Junction, Winslow, Otwell, where the high school is there, Millersport, Ireland, Portersville, all at risk there for getting some damaging wind gusts as this storm moves through at about 55 to 60 miles an hour. We are simulcasting our coverage not only on Facebook, but we're streaming it there and also on our website, 14news.com. We are also on the radio right now at 104 FM WIKY, and we will continue, of course, with our coverage on all platforms as we go through the next few minutes here of coverage. If you have reports, by the way, the quickest way to get them to Jackie and our news department is to go to 14news.com. When you get there, go up here and navigate to the send us your photos and videos selection, and then you just click that green thing and you can send video, or you can also send regular still pictures and we can show them here on the air. Going back to our warnings now, and I just wanted to show a plot that shows where the warnings are in effect. North of I-64, a couple of tornado warnings embedded in there, and now new severe thunderstorm warnings just issued. That'll cover Davies and also Martin counties. Now those are out of our viewing area. Knox County, some of you watch us in Vincennes. It kind of goes either way between us and Terre Haute, but we will continue our coverage here at least until we get those tornado warnings cleared out, since they are right on the fringe of our viewing area. We may have some folks up there needing that information and trying to see what's going on. So as we get a nice tight view again here, if you're in Washington now, those strong winds, heavy rain, possible hail will be moving your way in about 10 to 12 minutes. So time to take cover there in Washington, in Davies County. And then as it moves on across into Martin County and out of our area, it'll cross on into central Indiana. And then across Pike County, of course, the next one in line here would be Du Bois, and it wouldn't surprise me to see a warning yet for Du Bois County. These are some arrival times, again, if the storm holds together, for damaging wind gusts and very heavy rainfall. Jasper would be 11:28. That's a late storm. And it's going to be hard to see other than the lightning. There's just not a lot out there to really give you the heads up other than the coverage here that we're providing on the TV station. All right, now we have some reports in. Let's see what the tornado report was from Mount Carmel. And that was a damage reported to the high school. Many trees down there in Mount Carmel, and they're checking on home damage. There have been multiple touchdowns, according to law enforcement there around Mount Carmel, across the southern side of town. And that report just came in about 15 to 18 minutes ago. So that kind of gives us a little more weight to what we're looking at here this evening. And that is also the newest report that we've had too. I wanted to do a real quick scan for flash flooding. I don't think we're going to see any flood warnings out there. We don't. So we're going to go on back here to our regular radar picture with the warnings on it. And again, these two warnings will clear at 10:15, and then we're going to kind of ease into a newscast here. I'll let our producer Marissa tell me how we want to handle this going forward. Obviously, lots of you in the northern part of the tri-state here under the gun as these strong winds continue to move out and to the east. But the storm itself, losing some of its definition. It was very, very focused there at first, and now it's kind of fanning out a little bit. Doesn't mean it's not capable of producing damage, but it seems to be losing some of its punch. Let's check out our lightning strikes. And now we have a new warning. This one just came there just as I touched the screen, and that's for northern Warwick County. So basically along and either side of Interstate 64. And that's what that siren is behind us. So let's get the information on that on the screen for you. And that warning along I-64, northern Warwick County, will continue until 11 o'clock. And the same things apply here. We're talking about damaging wind potential and also very heavy rain and possibly some hail. That goes for Gibson, Pike, Posey, Vanderburgh, and Warwick counties, but it's an extreme northern edge. Now, a lot of times when we get a warning here for Vanderburgh County, if it touches any part of the county, all the sirens go off. And I want to emphasize that at least right now, and probably for the remainder of the evening, we're not expecting any of this to venture down into Evansville. It would surprise me now if we even saw rain in the city limits. But right out there along the county line, along Interstate 64, in particular, and then north is where we have some real trouble right now with some damage reported at Mount Carmel and multiple touchdowns of a tornado possible there. We've got the interceptor headed out in that direction. Obviously the storms have cleared now and are moving to the east, so it's safe to get him into position up there. We got Brady and Josh heading up Highway 41 for you. The other thing I'm looking at will be the potential here for a warning in Du Bois County, but let's take it one at a time here. So we're going to go back to our storm tracking tool, and I'm going to do this off of the wind data because that gives us a clearer picture of where we have the strongest winds. And first of all, just to give you an idea of how strong these winds are, as we look at some of this information here on the screen, between Princeton now and Francisco, still showing the potential there for 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. And then as we move on up I-69 here toward Petersburg, we're still showing pockets of 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, even down here around Fort Branch, which is very close in to the radar site, by the way, which means the radar is looking right at ground level, basically. We're showing winds of about 55 to 60. So I would look for tree and all kinds of damage up there in those areas along Highway 41 and now east toward I-69. I want to clear those numbers off and we'll go back to a storm track. If you're watching in Vanderburgh County, you hear the sirens, but again, this is just the extreme northern edge of the county. It'd be about North High School North or Baseline Road, and then on up there into Interstate 64, then Hobstop right on the other side there, Fort Branch a little higher up as these storms move to the east at about 45 to 50. Let's try to get that loop if we can. And what's interesting here is that wind really now starting to light up again as the storms pass to the east of the radar, which is right there in Owensville. Okay, I promised you storm tracks. Let's get some storm tracks going, and we'll start here on the northern edge. Again, strongest winds now entering into Davies County in southwest Indiana. A lot of these towns are in the path of potential 40 to 50 mile an hour, even 60 or 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Washington at 1118, our most populous city there. Lagodi, which is in Martin County, 1135. And then Hiddleston Falls at 1138 and Shoals at 1142, which would get it completely out of the region or almost. Then next down here, again, strong wind potential is what we're talking about here. Rogers at 1114, Waco 1125, Harbison 1135, and then Cusco at 1143. That's Du Bois County that we're talking about. And then the winds that have now cleared Princeton and are kind of out toward Francisco along State Road 64 there. will be moving into Oakland City here at 10:22. So about 8 minutes from now, less than 8. You got to get into your safe spot now if you're in those towns. Winslow 10:31, Stendal at 11:34. And then Selvin at 10:38, Holland at 11:41. Local times always here. And then finally, the southern flank of the storm, which is right down there near the truck stops and the pilot and all that stuff there at I-64 and 41. That'll be moving into Elberfeld at 10:22, Hart at 10:29, and then into Rolling Acres, Stendal, Tennyson, Holland as it goes to the east. So the interceptor is out. I don't know if we can take that live picture or not. I'm not exactly sure where he is, but it does illustrate very well how intense the rain is coming down right now. They are heading up, or we're heading up Highway 41, I would imagine toward Mount Carmel or Princeton to see what's going on. And you can see the wind blowing that rain across the road right now. So very low visibility. And I should point out too that that camera kind of exaggerates the speed that the interceptor is moving at. I know Josh is a safe driver, and Brady, of course, we want them to be safe out there in the interceptor, but really tough driving conditions out there this evening. Back to the radar we go, and we have all of this damaging wind potential moving across into the east. Let's do a little tighter work here. We're going to clear off all those storm tracks, and what I want to do now is look here right around the eastern edge of Gibson County. So there's Princeton, but we're really looking more at Oakland City, trying to predict here. It's coming in on Oakland City right now. We're going to go to a live view, and then I'm going to look at whether we have any lofted debris. And there really isn't a convincing return in here, perhaps a couple little spots. Very hard to tell based on that data, but it's certainly not beyond the pale that we would have some leaves and limbs and things like that being cast about by the wind. So right now, the folks that need to be in shelter, Oakland City, all the way down to Barton Township here, Mackey, Buckskin, all those spots along I-69, you need to be prepared to move to shelter and stay there. And then, of course, everybody we've mentioned in Pike County right now also needs to be in a safe place as this storm moves in. Our tornado warnings have cleared for Knox County up there, but we're still talking about significant winds moving across southwest Indiana right now. And as we get the interceptor into position, we hope to have some more information for you from them. Let's go back and see if we have any additional storm reports. We have several. What do you have?
I was going to say, if you want to, Brady can hear you, so they're heading towards Mount Carmel to see if they can check out some of the damage at the high school. But he can hear you, so if you want to ask him questions about what he's seeing, he's able to tell you. Maybe they can bring up what he's seeing.
Okay, well, we can just look at that picture. So we're going to go to Brady Williams and Josh Luca, who are now on the way to Mount Carmel. Where are you now, Brady? And looks like you pulled off the road there. It looks like the going is too tough. What's up?
Brady, we can't hear you.
Check our microphone. Can you hear me now?
Yes. A little louder? Okay.
Okay.
What are you seeing?
Louder? Yeah.
You're good. What are you
Go
seeing?
ahead, Brady.
So we're seeing lots and lots of rain right now. So coming down in sheets, we really had to pull over to the side of the road because it's not just the rain, it's the wind. And it's also other drivers. You can see folks are going past us, but you know, these pair of cars just ahead of us just put on their hazards as well. We're really getting pushed all around the road here. Josh and I did not feel comfortable continuing like some of these folks are. It is still hard. We are south of Princeton about 10 minutes or so. We're on our way to Mount Carmel. We do want to check out some of the damage to the high school there. But for now, we're just going to stick this out because it is way too intense here.
So, Brady, are you on Highway 41 pointing north? Are you past 64?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
we are past 64. We passed that about 10 minutes ago.
All right, so stay safe up there. Let's go back to the radar and compare that. Obviously, you saw the picture there, and we have a couple of new reports now that have come in for hail, but also some wind damage reports. This one near Crossville, and we have trees and power lines down there. That report came in almost an hour ago, but it's just now populating here on the screen. Our hail reports were from earlier today. As we go back to the radar picture now, where we just saw Brady and Josh, they are between not quite to Princeton right now, and as we go into the next, if they can ride it out there for about 10 more minutes, the heaviest rain will be past, and things will be a lot safer then to get out and drive. So let's get right back into that area. And again, here's Princeton, Fort Branch, so you have Highway 41 coming up like that. Very heavy rainfall, and as he showed you there, that wind also really intense there, coming off of the highway and moving to the east. Some of the gusts in here now,